Welcome to the Beyond the Leash podcast, the show where we dive into the world of service dogs and beyond the leash, unleashing the truth, breaking down those barriers, and sharing incredible stories behind the harness. I am your host, Service Dog Educator.
And I'm Bumblebee.
Whether you are a handler, an ally, or you're just curious, you're in the right place. Let's get ready to learn, laugh, and be inspired because life is better with a working dog by your side. Let's get started. So, we have a interesting podcast here today as we have a couple topics up here that we really want to go over. Some of them do have videos to go with it, but as of right now, I don't. We might insert said videos. What was I saying? I completely lost track.
So we might be posting the videos inside the video or not. Are we gonna do that? Yes or no?
I would.
Okay.
So that way people who are watching
I'll
can
have to
see
just
what
post
we're.
a snippet of it.
That's fine.
Okay. Back to it.
So it's the first two deal with videos, the last one doesn't. But before we get into these topics, we have some breaking news. Da, da, da. So today's breaking news is dealing with the podcast in itself, guys. So if you are a fan of the podcast and like listening to us, we're going to have some changes be made, unfortunately. And some of you may not like this news. Me and Bumble have decided that we are only going to be doing a podcast two episodes in a month. So that's at the beginning of the month and the end of the month. Because with our schedules of me having, two disabled kids, plus also running the small businesses that I do have, I have literally like two things going on at once. Bumble working her job as well. Our schedules are not really lining up. Our conditions, like my back condition and also migraines, are getting worse. As we go on, her medical conditions are also getting worse as time goes on as well, and it's taking a lot of toll out of us to
make these
show up for these lives and be 100%. And we want to give you guys 100% and not do a half-ass live and a half-ass podcast. So you may notice that this one is a bit of a drop in, like, we're not here for like the full hour. Just that's also because we're exhausted and we're putting so much on our plate that we can't keep up with. So while we're gonna still have this on our plate and we're still gonna do it and continue it because we do like to do it, we're just gonna make it less, I don't want to say less of a priority, but not as frequent.
Yeah, we're gonna try to compile the best of the best, the best news, the best topics and whatnot, and we're gonna try to spend more time kind of creating an artisanal piece rather than a once a week kind of almost. I don't want to say they were all, half-assed, but it was starting to feel like they kind of were. We were starting to run out of ideas and we weren't giving ourselves enough time to. So this will give us more time to perfect it, to make it more streamlined, to give us more things to sink our teeth into.
Right. Um, yeah, so that's our breaking news for today's podcast, and I hope you guys do understand. If you guys are upset about the news or excited or you just want to send love and appreciation, please just send a comment. Let us know your feedback and what you guys think. At the end of the day, we also want to let you guys know that we're not trying to disappoint anybody or make you guys feel like we don't care. I still will be doing my regular scheduled live, so if you haven't already, follow me on TikTok at Service Dog Educator on TikTok. You guys will see me live most of the time. You guys can also follow Bumblebee at 1-800-GOT-WASP on TikTok as well, so you guys can also follow her. But let's get into the topics for today. The first topic is stop being the service dog police. So this topic is inspired by an individual who goes around filming for, his name is like American, hang on, I have the video. It's American something. Let me grab it. But anyways, while I'm trying to find that video, the individual is a guy who I believe is retired, and he goes around and for retirement stuff.
It's not even like the
Adventures in Retirement, that's what it was.
Yeah, it's not even like
So,
it's not even like that he's retired and he just like does things. No, he literally just like goes to like grocery stores and like cruise ships and like out and about on like his daily journey, and like he will specifically search for, quote unquote fake service dogs, and half the time, the dogs aren't necessarily exhibiting signs of misbehaving or anything really.
has he done it more often? Because I only saw the one.
Yeah, there's like 5 or 6 videos that he's put out. Like he did one on a cruise ship. There was one inside of a grocery
Yeah, that's the
store.
one that I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
he also followed somebody around in a grocery store. He recently was following somebody outside of an airport. Um, that had a service dog, but it's like all these dogs like don't aren't misbehaving and aren't like doing anything that I would consider like not being a service dog. Like the dogs are walking next to their owner in a loose leash heel. Some of them aren't wearing a harness that says service dog on them, and one of them's not even wearing a harness at all. But it's like there's nothing that would indicate that these dogs aren't service dogs.
Right. And so basically, the video that we are talking about is he was on a cruise ship at the time, and this guy had a Rottweiler on the cruise ship. And from what I saw of the video that I watched, this Rottweiler did not exhibit any signs of it. It wasn't a service dog, but also we didn't get too much in depth of the clip. We don't know what happened prior to when they started filming or anything else like that. Now, is it a possibility could this dog be a fake? Yes, there is a possibility that it could have been a fake. But this is what the caption reads, and I'm going to read it. This is why people don't believe service dogs anymore. All right, I got to ask y'all. There is a whole Rottweiler on this cruise. They say it's a service dog, but is it really? Or is it a buddy just wanting to take his pet on vacation? No disrespect at all. I'm trying to understand. It could be 100% legit, but some people take advantage of the whole service dog thing. This is getting out of control. Or am I tripping? So what I have problem with the context of this, right, is that first of all, he said there's a whole Rottweiler on here. First of all, Rottweilers can be service dogs. I know an individual who has a Rottweiler service dog, and he is a great service dog. Number two, I do agree with the fact that people do take advantage of the system. Yes, we all know it. We all know that can be true. But to sit there and say, Buddy just wanted to take his dog on vacation and blah blah blah. Like you don't know if that's a legitimate service dog or not. You don't know if that man has medical issues or if that person had any sort of psychological disability. Could have been a military member, could have been a medical alert dog. You have no idea. So to up and judge a person for, them having the dog on board is something that you shouldn't do. And we as service dog handlers and the public, this is a PSA to the public, it is none of your damn business why that dog's there in the first place. I just saw a recent video of a lady who has a smaller dog. I would say it's kind of like it's one of the long-haired, puggy kind of dogs, and the
Pomeranian,
dog is sitting on her. No, it looks like a pug, but it's long-haired.
Pekingese,
I have no idea.
probably a Pekingese.
I'll send you the video. I'll send you the video. This lady is in a motorized wheelchair. She looks disabled, like physically looks disabled, but she has a psychiatric service dog. And the dog is sitting on her lap. People in the comment section saying that that was not a service dog because it was sitting on her lap. Stop being the service dog police. If you don't know that person and you don't know that dog, you have no right to say anything, especially if you know shit about the laws at the end of the day. Like, I could go on a video and I watched the whole video. I did not say that her dog was a fake service dog because she was doing nothing wrong, nor was the dog. I cannot say, oh, that dog's a fake service dog.
Yeah, there's nothing that indicates that these dogs are fake service dogs. Like I said, the dogs that this guy, videotapes, they're all acting normal. They're in a loose leash heel. They're not charging at anybody. They're not barking at anyone. They're not pooping and peeing on anything. They're just being there, half the time. And it's like, you know, to answer his question, am I tripping? It's like, yeah, you kind of are. YTA, you're the asshole. Like you're going around filming people. And on top of that, you again, like you said, you don't know if this person's disabled. So not only are you the asshole for trying to start a problem, but you're also the asshole for filming a disabled person. You can easily go up to a service dog handler and go, "Oh, that's a lovely dog you have there." A lot of service dog handlers would be glad to tell you, "Yes, this is a service dog." Ask me about my story. Heck, whenever I had a service dog, if I had a kid come up to me, I'd be like, if I was in a good mood, I'd tell them, I would tell them that, yeah, it's a service dog, and here's what happened. You know, and if it was an adult, that was just, trying to be genuine and trying to ask questions, and wasn't trying to be a jerk about it, yeah, I'd answer their questions. I'd be like, yeah, this is a service dog, and I would answer all of their, their other questions as long as it wasn't too probing, but instead of asking these people, hey, is this a service dog? Why do you have a dog on a boat? He's just going, obviously it's a fake. Obviously it's a fake. He just wanted to bring his pet on because it's a fake. It's like, no, not necessarily. You can't just base that off of a 5-second interaction with that dog. Also, I quickly want to stipulate, I don't think anyone understands how difficult it is to get a service dog onto a cruise ship to begin with, period. Second point, there's no grass on boats. So not only is your service dog quarantined to like certain parts of the boat, also you basically have to bring your own potty pads. If you don't, the boat doesn't supply them for you. There is no pee pee poo poo spot on a boat. Like, I don't think people understand that, like, this is not just like, oh, I just wanted to bring Fifi with me because I can. Are there some people that do that? Yes. Is it easy to do? Hell no. Because again, they require usually vaccination records, and depending on what countries you go to, they need to be quarantined. They also need sometimes require, like, I think it's Disney Cruise Lines that do require you to have a doctor's note present and accounted for before you get on the boat. Before you even step foot on the boat, you have to have your doctor's note. It's kind of like the fast pass lanes at Disneyland. Like, for some reason, they want you to start bringing your doctor's notes for service animals. Is it a little bit invasive? Yeah, but it is what it is. But it's not easy to bring a dog onto a cruise ship unless you know how to do it. On top of that, dogs on boats do not usually mix unless your dog is desensitized to that. That is a very, very, very big step. It's the same thing as airplanes. Your dog is not used to being in the air. They prefer all four paws on the ground. Yes, it's ground in the air, and yes, it's ground in the water, but boats move, airplanes have turbulence. That shit's very uncomfortable. I don't like airplanes and I don't like boats. And I'm a person. I don't like it if I don't have 2 feet on solid ground because I don't like the ground moving beneath me. Unless it is in a car where then I can be in control of it. But that's just my 2 cents
Right.
on it. Is that it's a very, very, very hard thing to do in general. It's also not easy on a dog because, like, I've seen a lot of service dog handlers who bring their dogs on cruise lines, and they're like, yeah, like the first like day or two that my dog's on the ship, they will not go to the bathroom. They will just like throw up everywhere, and it's like, yeah, that sounds about right because boat sickness affects everybody. Well, that's just my 2 cents.
I my whole thing is it's not even just towards this person directly. It's to everybody, whether you're in the service dog community or you're a ally or you're just a normal person who sees a service dog video, well, we want advocacy and we want people to learn the laws and advocate for us, especially if you see something, say something kind of thing. If the dog is way out of bounds, such as attacking, barking, or
Lunging.
lunging at another service dog.
Yeah.
But if the dog is not doing anything, if the dog is, whether it's in a cart, sitting on a lap, doing what it's got to do, you don't get to be the service dog police. I tell this to handlers multiple times. New handlers, old handlers, it doesn't matter. You are not the service dog police. Just because you have a service dog does not make you the service dog police. You don't know that person, you don't know their disability. You don't know that dog. What if it is a fake service dog and they're pissed off at you for calling them out and calling them a fake service dog handler when they think that they have a service dog? Now they're getting aggressive. Now they're coming to you and they're like, and now their dog attacks your dog. Like, you don't want that mess.
Agreed.
And we just need to stop with the service dog police. Mind your own damn business unless the dog is directly affecting you.
Agreed.
But with that being said, let's move on to the second topic. This one also has a video, and this is for a service dog handler who I don't think it was intentional. I think that they just didn't, like, either they didn't understand or they're confused or whatever the case is. But there is a service dog handler on here called Canine Rocket. And again, this is no hate towards this individual. We're not mad at them, nothing like that. They made a recent video about a tattoo shop. Um, and in that video, they stated that service dogs can't go everywhere, which that is correct. That is proper information, such as sterile environments like hospitals, surgical areas, burn units, some ICU rooms, and stuff like that. But they mentioned that their dog wasn't allowed with in the, like, they had to sit up front, like the dog had to be up front and not around the tattoo place, such as the person getting the tattoo. That is actually incorrect. While yes, the tools are sterile and need to be sterile, that in itself is not a sterile environment. If you can wear your ordinary street clothes into this establishment, and just sit down and have your ordinary clothes, it is not a sterile environment. Surgical operating rooms, you have to have a certain gown on, and you're strapped in there, literally like move you onto a sterile
They
bed,
will literally make you take
the
a
operating
shower.
table and stuff like
They
that.
will literally make you take a shower before you go into an operation room.
Some of the times, yes.
Like depending on
They clean
what they're
you. They
cleaning.
do they sterilize your skin and everything else like that. So tattoo shops are actually allowed to allow service dogs in that space, even with the tattoo being tattooed onto you. They're allowed back there. They're allowed to be with you. um
As
the
someone as someone with a bunch of tattoos themselves, I have what, three on one arm, one on another, and one behind my ear. My service dog was there
I got
for
a
all of
bunch.
those.
I got a
So
bunch of tattoos. I
yeah.
got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I got 12 tattoos altogether.
Yeah, so I've had my service dog in the tattoo parlor with me, next to me, and one of the times actually alerting me to my blood sugar dropping while in the middle of a tattoo. Yeah, the only time it becomes a problem is if the dog literally interferes with the tattoo artist or the tattoo gun itself. Like I said, my one time my dog had to alert me that my blood sugar was dropping. Um, and thankfully I have a habit of keeping one of my legs kind of off the side of chairs, or tables that I'm laying down on, because I don't know, that's just maybe like my ADHD or something like that. But my dog can smell my ketones, and she picks up on them. And she kind of pawed at my leg for a second, and I was like, hey man, I need to stop for a second. My service dog's trying to alert me to something. And I leaned down and I'm like, check it, and she smelled my breath, and then she actually alerted me to the actual problem. So you can have a service dog inside of a tattoo parlor, because again, your street clothes are allowed in there, your shoes are allowed in there, you're covered in dog hair or baby vomit or whatever else the cat drags in. You're covered in whatever, and all they do is wipe you down with an alcoholic wipe. They prep you a little bit, they give you some numbing cream, and then they start tattooing. It is not
Yeah.
surgery. It is not surgery where they have to physically go into your body. That is something completely different and not a sterile environment. Because again,
Yeah.
I also did contact my my attorney for this. I asked him, I'm like, hey, I know it's been a while since I've talked to you about this, but can tattoo parlors tell you that you can't have your service dog next to you? And he said, no, they can't do that because that's not access to your medical equipment. That's like telling somebody with a wheelchair, leave your wheelchair up front. Or somebody with an oxygen tank, leave your oxygen tank up front. Like, no, 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 no. You can't do that because that's medical equipment. And I also asked him because they also stipulated, well, it was my friend that was getting the tattoo, so it was for her safety. And I asked him that as well. And I said, well, what if my friend's getting a tattoo? And he says, it doesn't matter. Your medical equipment stays with you. If you're in the room with them and not like physically on top of the person, your service dog is allowed inside of the room. Now, if it is like a tiny, tiny studio, there might not be as much room to move, but usually tattoo studios don't stick you inside of a broom closet.
Right.
So I did contact my attorney for that. And, shout out Chuck. I love him so much. He's a great guy. Um, he said that tattoo parlors do not have the right to deny you access to your service dog. They cannot require you to leave them up front. They cannot require you to leave them out in your car. They cannot tell you, no, you cannot have this dog in here. Because again, it is medical equipment. It is the same thing as crutches, a wheelchair, a cane, or oxygen tanks. Just wanted to put that out there. Again, shout out to Chuck. He's a great guy. I love him to bits and pieces. Great attorney. Great attorney. Um, but yeah, a lot of people make that misconception that tattoo parlors are sterile environments. It's not the tattoo parlor itself that's a sterile environment. It's the equipment that they use that are sterile. Again, that's why they never reuse needles on people because otherwise they could get into a lawsuit because what if somebody has HIV? What if somebody has AIDS? That's transmittable through blood. So that's the only part that is technically sterile because everything else in that place is not sterile. Trust me, I've been to many a shady many a shady tattoo parlors where the owner will be smoking indoors, where the owner will be chewing tobacco indoors, um where the owner will be drinking on premise, where the owner will literally be having a pizza party. Any number of things will be happening at this tattoo parlor. And so it's just kind of a free for all for everybody at that point. So it's not a sterile environment because you wouldn't host a party inside of an operating room. Am I making sense there, educator?
Yeah.
You wouldn't be hosting an open party with your friends and your buddies inside of an OR. You wouldn't be hosting an open party with your buddies in an ICU or in the NICU or wherever else is considered sterile. You wouldn't be hosting a party with all your buddies. And that's what a lot of tattoo parlors do to promote business is that they offer parties. They'll do Super Bowl parties, they'll do football games, they'll do baseball, basketball, any sport you could think of. I mean, again, I live in Texas. Any sport, they're all celebrating something. Either that or it's just a holiday, and then they're throwing party balloons. So yeah, it's not a sterile environment. Because it's just the tools that are sterile. And unless your dog is physically getting up onto the table with you or with your friend, no, that's not applicable. That tattoo parlor needs to understand that they are not a quote unquote sterile environment. It is just their equipment and it's just that one specific area that they're working on.
Right. Well, with that being said, we're gonna move on to the next topic. How much time do we got left?
6 minutes.
No, we're good. Having a service dog does not make you lazy. Let's talk about it. So I get this a lot. That's either like the parents who have children with service dogs or people in itself are lazy. for having a service dog, and there have been multiple people that have been like, well, I have the same medical condition that you have and I don't need a service dog and blah blah blah. Congratulations. You While service dogs can help live an independent lifestyle for certain people, it's not a requirement for everyone to have. Just because you have a similar condition to me, or it could be the exact same condition where medication doesn't work, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, you know, and you're able to live your life however, that's great. But that doesn't mean other people can't either. And to call somebody lazy because of the fact of they wanting to or needing a service dog, that in itself is an ableist thing, and it's very wrong to do. Because I am for a fact not lazy. I mean, we just literally talked about how much stuff I have on my plate when it comes to running my own business, when it comes to creating a PowerPoint for the school district, when it comes to running lives every single day, Monday through Thursday, and having the weekends only to spend time with my family. Bumble working her job, plus also doing the podcast editing and joining on live streams when she can, and even helping me do the PowerPoints and the courses itself.
Yeah, I mean, I get, told a lot, like, oh, well, you just rely on your service dog for a lot of stuff. And it's like, yeah, medically, I'm not able to take care of myself sometimes. Like, it's not my fault that, like, my body is the way that it is. You know, it's just bad genetics. And that's nobody's fault. It's really already disheartening enough to be disabled as it is. I don't need somebody coming up to me and being like, "Oh, well, you're disabled, so you're just a lazy person." It's like, no, I work twice as hard, if not three times harder than the average Joe. Like, I made a joke earlier saying that, like, I make the joke of, I've got early onset rigor mortis. Because every morning I have to physically fight my body to get up in the morning sometimes. Like, my bones hurt to the core. And that's just something I have to live with and I have to deal with and I have to go through every single day. And it's not a choice. And I'm not lazy by any stretch of the imagination. I'm a very active person. I have 2 dogs. I've got a fish tank I take care of. I take care of my parents. I take care of my grandparents. I am like the opposite of lazy. I mean, educator, how long have you known me?
3 to 4 years.
How many days off do I get? Maybe like 2, 3. And how many of those days do I actually just sit down and do nothing?
Not a lot.
Hardly ever. Do I ever just get to sit down and do nothing? Even today's my day off. I did not do, I literally was up and at 'em at 9 a.m. and I went to my grandmother's house. I helped her clean up her house. And I went to my parents' house. I helped them clean up their house. My house isn't even clean yet. I'm gonna have to do that after this podcast. But um, and then I was at a doctor's appointment at 3, and I got back at like 5 and I'm doing this now at 7. So I am not I'm not a lazy person. I am a go and get them all day long person. And that's how a lot of service dog handlers are. Is that they are a very busy person. It's very rare that we ever get to actually sit down and go, "Oh, yeah, I can veg out for like the whole day." Because it's 9 times out of 10 usually
It's
up and
very
running.
rare that you or me gets to do that. I mean, like on the weekends, we might be able to have, sometimes where we're just like playing on the video game with each other. Like I have not been able to play Fortnite in a long
Yeah, we
while.
haven't played Fortnite in like
For the
3 weeks, like almost 3 months.
like no, I've been on it, just not a lot. Like you probably haven't been on it for 3 months. I've been on it like minusculely.
I have not been on in like
Sometimes I play with,
ever.
I would love to get back on it, but it's just we're just so busy and we're just so exhausted.
So stinking busy and so stinking exhausted all the time.
I'm guessing the timer went off.
Yeah, but we can keep going if we want to.
I got nothing else to add.
All right. I mean, if we want to
You?
end it here, we can end it here.
Do you have any more you want to add?
Not really.
I just don't want you to, be cut off.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Well, with that being said, guys, we're gonna end the podcast here for today. Make sure that you guys follow all our social medias, and like I said, we will see you guys. What's today? The 8th. So we're gonna do from now on. Probably, I'm gonna get a calendar out really fast. And Bumble, you can put this on your calendar later. I'll remind you.
It's the 29th.
Uh, Hang on, I need a calendar. Give me a minute. Calendar, there it is. Okay, so we are on the 8th. Yep, we'll do the 29th. So we're going to do the first Wednesday of the month and then the last Wednesday of the month.
All right, first Wednesday, last Wednesday. You got it.
So I'm going to put that in. And we'll be doing it 8 p.m. Central Time. Okay. Uh, no, we're not going to be doing it every week. Oh, but let me end this podcast really quick and we'll explain. Cut this part out, Bumble. So make sure we follow all the social medias and everything of me and Bumble. It's going to be linked down below. But that is it for today's episode of the Beyond the Leash podcast. Thank you for hanging out with us and learning more about the amazing world of service dogs. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to follow, share, leave a quick comment. It really helps us reach more dog lovers like you. And until next time, stay positive, keep those tails wagging, and give your pup an extra treat from us. Have a great night, everybody.
All right, I'm gonna head out from here then.
And wrap. Okay, just give me one second. I'm gonna recap everything. So, Christina, no, we're not gonna be doing every week anymore. With how much is on mine and Bumble's plate, doing the online courses, me creating a PowerPoint for the school district, plus also doing lives every single day, and both of our disabilities becoming more painful within the time. We're just gonna do twice a month. We're gonna do the first week and the last week of the month. The first Wednesday of the first Wednesday of the month and the last Wednesday of the month for the podcast, so that way we can have more less on our plate and also give you guys more 100% of the podcast, because we feel like we're half-assing it because there's so much
There's so little, but
that
yet
we are
so
doing.
much. Like
Yeah,
there's like weeks where like we'll go without like a news topic, and it's like we need to find something for a news topic.
and there's not much that goes on every single week.
Yeah, so we also need more time to come up with topics to talk about.
More because we're running out of topics as well, and that's where we're having a hard time getting topics together because we feel like we're doing the same topics over and over. Where can I find the course? The link is in my bio for my website for you to get more information about it, or you can just message me about how to pay, and then I will give you the link to the course. It is on Google Classroom, though. I will say that. But you do have to have a code to get in and everything, and I will send that link once the payment has been sent. But I am going, if anybody has any questions about the ADA online course, please feel free to reach out. I'll be able to help out. Again, I will not be live tomorrow morning, but I will be live tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow's going to be my last live of this week, and then I will resume them on Monday. As far as I'm aware, I don't believe I'll be able to go live Friday. I will try, but it's not guaranteed. Make sure that we follow Bumble. Bumble's an amazing service dog educator, and we love her dearly. She also does politics, so if you're interested in the politic world, please follow them. Also, make sure you follow me if you haven't already as well. I go live Monday through Thursday. I try to go twice a day, but I do once a day at least. And I also post videos every now and then. And you can get more information about all the stuff that I am doing, whether that's the online course or anything else, on there as well. Follow our Beyond the Leash podcast, TikTok, and also my Handlers Rights and Beyond course on TikTok as well. But I will see you guys tomorrow with another regular scheduled live. Much love and appreciation to all who have joined today. And I will see you all very, very soon with another live. Make sure you train your service dogs and have a great night, everybody.
Have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I've made mistakes, but mistakes make you strong.